Yes, hello everyone. Welcome to today's Talking Talent webinar, Series 4. My name is Genevieve Amponsa and I work with Jobberman Ghana as a community marketer. Thank you all for joining. This webinar will be in just 1 hour and 15 minutes, so running from now till 2:15 p.m. And today we're talking about SME pathway to growth, hiring the right way. We have three great speakers to help us understand this topic. And to help us do that, we have, yes, three great speakers. I have an amazing woman here, Nana Amanyanka, who is the CEO and founder of Nayo by Africa. And then I have Ama Jampo. Ama Jampo is the co-founder and CEO of Scale Up Africa. And then again, we will have Ibrahim Asani, the head of recruitment and human resource here at Jobberman Ghana. So I'd like you to prepare yourself, and I will be back. Then we will begin with our very first speaker, Ama Jampo. Okay. Yeah, hello. Welcome back from the quick commercial break. If you are here, just say hi to me. Let me know you are here. Okay, we have Anita joining. We have Ebenezer. We have Nana Noma. Okay, Nana Noma says very excited to be here. Thank you for joining, Nana. Ekia, hi everyone. Okay, Heather. Hello, Heather. And Bernard, thank you for joining. Yes. So if you also join, let me know you are here with us. To begin, I would like to welcome you once again. If you just joined in, this is the Talking Talent Webinar Series 4. Today, we're talking about how to grow your business with the right people. So, as an SME business owner, how do you grow your business? Does hiring the right way really helps? Having the right people with the right attitude help you in your business? These two amazing speakers will be helping us understand how their businesses have gone so far, having the right people in the right places. So to begin with, we have Ama Jampo. Ama Jampo, as I mentioned earlier, she is the CEO and co-founder of Scale Up Africa. Ama has 18 years experience. Ama has 18 years of experience, and she's a proud journalist with strategic background across EMEA region. With great experience also in consulting, Ama held higher positions as strategic advisory and program management for BlackBerry and Vodafone's marketing teams, ministerial committees on youth entrepreneurship, national task force on impact investing, among others. And Ama will be helping us understand how to attract the right talent with your brand, getting your employees to align with your vision as an SME business owner. Ama, if you can hear me loud and clear, we are good to go. You're welcome.
Thanks so much, Genevieve. I think you'll be helping me drive the presentation, right?
Yes, I will.
Okay. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay. All right. Are we good to go?
Great. Thank you. Good day, everyone. Welcome to the webinar, Talking Talent. I'm very pleased to share with you some of the insights on basically branding. So this presentation will be about 10-15 minutes, and we'll just quickly do it in two halves. The first half will be about how to leverage a brand to build employee loyalty and to hire the right people. So next slide. Next slide, Genevieve. Thank you.
Okay.
We'll talk through our brand and our story, and then we will tie that into what that could mean for you. So Scale Up Africa is very much an entrepreneurship advisory firm. We work across the continent supporting women and youth to build up their businesses. So you'll see that in terms of our brand, we've been able to build the trust and relationships required to showcase the new ways of developing Africa through entrepreneurship. So you'll see that we've been featured in publications like Forbes, like Entrepreneur, TEDx Accra, BBC, Africa.com, and others. So this gives you a flavor of our brand and how we are positioning ourselves on the African stage and also, of course, continentally and locally here in Ghana too. Next slide, please. So we're actually a women-led organization, and we work with a lot of SMEs across the continent and partners. So we everything we do it in partnership with people who we feel can actually align with our vision, our goals, and that means brands like MasterCard Foundation. We're working with MasterCard Foundation to work with entrepreneurs to build up their capacity to recover from COVID. And COVID has taught us, that we are too reliant on outside sort of importation, for example, and too reliant on the old ways of doing business. So our remit for the MasterCard Foundation project is really to show SMEs, women in particular, but SMEs generally, and run by young people, how to get into the new economy through digitization. So we're talking about, the agri-business sector, the creative industries, artisans who are, doing basketry. How do we leverage the mobile phone to as a business tool and showcase how people can get into the new economy to make sure that they can also survive if there are any unexpected shocks like we did see last year with COVID-19. Next slide, please. So another partner you'll see here is Access Bank, which is a Pan-African bank also, and is one of the largest banks in Africa in terms of their customer numbers and customer base. Again, our brand is very much about women, economic empowerment, and really to showcase the African connection, because Africa, as we know, is a huge market of 1.3 billion people, and it's a huge opportunity for us to also position our brand outside of our shores here in Ghana. Next slide, please. So we also do other events and programs and projects to do with the fundamental things that we care about: building social impact, presenting iconic events to convene people from across the continent, across the diaspora, across Africa, to talk about social issues, innovation, entrepreneurship, gender equality, the sustainable development goals, and also the diaspora opportunities as well. We remember the year of return was a massive success for Ghana as a branding exercise. It helped to attract and position Ghana as a leading destination for, African and diaspora visitors from across the world. That has since translated to business opportunities for the continent beyond tourism. And so we are very keen to be part of the conversation around social impact and opportunities that Africa presents across the continent and in the diaspora. Next slide, please. So the final case study we'll share is probably about the survival series. I think you have to go back one slide. We also have really positioned ourselves to introduce SMEs into the digital space. And so we were one of the first companies actually to offer our services in the digital sphere with the survival series. And so that enabled us to reach more distressed SMEs in response to the COVID lockdown that we saw last year. And so again, it was really positioning ourselves as a brand that SMEs and those who sponsor and support SMEs, like the corporation and foundation, can actually trust to be there for the core customer, which is the entrepreneur. Next slide, please. So I've talked about our branding and the fact that we are fundamentally here to grow entrepreneurship as an ecosystem across the continent. And so it's not just about training; it's about really connecting SMEs to new opportunities. And so, like I said, the survival series was one of those areas where we were one of the first entrepreneurship support organizations in Ghana to go live, and actually in Africa to offer services live in a digital format to reach the SMEs in distress because of the shock of the COVID-19 lockdowns and pandemic at the time. Next slide, please. So I've given an outline of some of our projects, and this is another one where we leverage digital technology to enable farmers, micro entrepreneurs in the agri space, to leverage technology and the mobile phone to access weather information, market information, access to financial credit to enable them to buy inputs for their farming activities, and all manner of information that is available in the digital space. So again, we're trying to bring more of our farmers and micro entrepreneurs into the digital space. So this is all very much in line with our brand. Go to the next slide. And then another project where we were able to train 70 women weavers in the north of Ghana to improve the quality of their outputs and then enable them to go onto a digital export marketplace destined for North America. Next slide, please. So as you know, I've been weaving a story for you to get a sense of our brand as a company, as a small company. We are a very small team with a fantastic network of partners and clients and stakeholders. So we wanted to just take a quick break before going on to the next section, which will discuss how to build your employer brand as an SME. So maybe we can do a little bit of interaction now and just drop it in the chat. What one word would you use to describe Scale Up Africa's brand? If you wouldn't mind having it in the chat, maybe one word that you have resonates with you as we've shared our own brand story. Maybe there's one word you would use to describe Scale Up Africa from what you have seen as an employer. What would you say is the one word that would describe Scale Up Africa? You could drop it in the chat if you have any ideas. Akria, Norma, Ebenezer, Anita, Heather, Norma. Maybe we could drop one word in the chat to describe Scale Up Africa's brand. Because a brand is really like what people remember and feel about your company when they see what you do and how you operate. Okay, so we have no activity in the chat. Women empowerment, Norma, thank you. Anyone else? So one word or one phrase that would describe Scale Up Africa's brand. Innovative, thank you, Heather. Leading, thank you, Heather. Any other comments on our brand before we move on to how you can build your brand as an SME employer? I think that's it for now. We can come back to the comments as and when they come up. But thank you. We can go on to the concept of employer branding, how you are respected and regarded in the public eye to attract the best and top talent. And we're going on to the next section, green. Thank you, Nana Basao. Green is another word that's being used to describe Scale Up Africa's brand. So we're going to go on to employer branding and how you as an SME employer can position yourselves in your brand to attract the right talent for your company to grow. Next slide, please. So the top factor that, employees are looking for, workers, graduates, young people are looking for is respect. We've given a nod to the Queen of Soul, Anita Franklin, due to her song, but respect is a key element that employees want to feel when they go for jobs and go for opportunities. So that is something that, as a SME employer yourself, you need to be very conscious of when you're building your employer brand. And so what is an employer brand, right? I think the concept of employer branding is something that we all need to become familiar with. It's actually something that we at Scale Up Africa are offering as a service to companies. And we help you basically as an employer, big or small employer, as an SME or larger organization, to basically manage your reputation as an employer brand, right? How do you manage and influence your reputation as an employer among job seekers, employees, and key stakeholders? It really means, employer branding really means everything you need to do to position your organization as an employer of choice, right? You want people to know about you and actually want to apply to you. Google receives something like 3 million applications a year. Can you imagine that? Like, that is obviously, different level altogether. But you need to be positioned in a way that people actually want to come and work with you. When you attract that volume of people, you attract the right kind of people that you could choose and select from when you're recruiting. Your employer brand is really your organization's reputation as an employer. So respect is a key part of that. And we talk about, of course, fair compensation and motivation. We don't just employ with, a salary that is, unreasonable for someone to live on every month. You don't just pay someone to just turn up to work every day and just collect salary at the end of the month. You need to implement some level of maybe a motivation or performance-related pay to motivate people to actually deliver good, strong outcomes that are aligned with your vision as an SME employer. Okay. Another one is, another thing that employees really want from an SME employer or for any employer is the sense of having a higher purpose. We've been described as innovative, leading, green, caring very much about women's economic empowerment and youth. That is something we care deeply about. So when people come to Scale Up Africa inquiring about working for us or with us, they already have a sense of our brand because they understand that, what it might be to work for us because we have a higher purpose. The next thing we put on the slide was public and internal reputation. If your employees are not happy with you as a boss, if you turn up and you turn up like you're not caring or you're not listening or you're not respecting them, the internal communications will end up being very poor. And then they're the very ones who go outside and talk about your company or you personally as a leader, as an employer. So you then don't get the benefit of a strong employer brand where you would attract the right kind of people into your organization. Ultimately, employees also want autonomy and freedom to deliver, which is a privilege. But of course, as an employer, you have a duty to ensure they are delivering outputs consistently over time and in alignment with your own vision. So it's really a psychological contract between yourself as an employer and your employees. As an employer running a small enterprise with growth in mind, it's really important to be super clear about what you expect from your employees as well from the very beginning. When you hold interviews, we often hold interviews in bulk. We invite people to come for a specific interview, and then we give them tasks, to prepare before they come into the interview. Those who don't respond or haven't paid attention to detail or haven't even bothered reading the email that we sent to them, they are automatically filtered out. Of course, those who turn up late, you get a sense for those who are not just going to fit your organization or give you more calls for additional work instead of helping you to grow your business. So, it's very important for you to understand that, constructive feedback is extremely important. Building the trust in your relationship is a very, very important factor with your employees. It's an ongoing process and it's something that you must actually nurture and work on over time. If you have a reputation of being very supportive, inclusive, and allowing people to do great work with a higher purpose, it really articulates your values, okay, and it enables people to also talk about you externally as well. So obviously, building a positive, safe, and decent environment for working is going to be a key factor in building your employer brand. And if you know you're creating a great place to work, you'll make noise about it. Your employees will become your most enthusiastic brand ambassadors and more than happy to advocate for your business as an amazing place to work and to contribute towards. So your feedback, being more constructive and caring about your feedback will help your employees also engage with you and know what you're expecting so that you can have a more beneficial relationship and grow together. And the key thing is obviously to make sure that you can retain your staff. You don't want to hide turnover your staff. So that constant, regular communication, constructive feedback, criticism, of course, when there's a major mistake, but that expectation setting and regular constructive feedback and appreciation goes a long way to foster an environment of respect within your small business, no matter how small. It could be just 2 of you or 3 of you, but of course the goal is to grow your business consistently over time. And that means if you're going to attract the right talent, again, I can't emphasize enough, it's very important that you build your employer brand. Next slide, please. So we're going to end on this last slide, which is about really your hiring principles as an SME employer. And as Ray Dalio says, you need to remember that the who is more important than the what, right? A lot of times SMEs are just sending maybe, oh, I need a graphic designer. Oh, I need this. They'll just be pushing out job titles and job specifications without really paying attention to writing down the characteristics of the person. The who is more important than the what. So if you focus on hiring principles, focus on what you as an SME employer want, you'll find that you're looking for the right attitude and character, because you can always teach skill and train people, but you can't really teach character and attitude for someone coming to your organization. They're already fully baked from their homes or from other areas and walks of life. So attitude and character, the who, would be more important than the what, the actual job itself that you are recruiting for. You ideally would want creative thinkers, independent self-starters, problem solvers, people who are assertive and patient. And you would have to also spend time yourself as an employer to coach and spend time to really detail how it is you want that person to interact with your business. You need to build trust. Also, when you're hiring, it's very important for you to check references from reputable sources, even if it's a school institution or like a tertiary institution that the person is coming into for the job market for the first time. It's very important for you as an SME to check references, because trust is ultimately what will get you to build a very successful company full of people who can actually do the right things at the right time to enable you to align your vision with them and to grow your business together. So for that is my presentation for today. Next slide, please. And I will welcome any questions if you have any.
Okay, thank you so much, Ahmad Jampo, for that insightful presentation.
Welcome.
Okay, so our audience, if you have any questions, please, Amma is ready to take them. Do we have any questions? I think before the webinar, somebody sent a message or a question somewhere. Okay, so let me see. Well, I have one here. It says, please, sometimes I get to hear a lot of employees aspiring to be business owners, and I feel they see being your own boss as something very easy. Is entrepreneurship that easy?
It's
that
far
is coming
from easy.
one of the participants.
Nanaya will also tell you it's far from easy. It means you have to become an expert in your field. You need to be very passionate about what you're doing. It means you really need to understand those you are serving and selling to. It means you have to be very clear about your value proposition, what it is, the problem you are solving, and be an expert in that space. It means you also have to develop partnerships to get you to where you want to go. It means you need to manage cash flow. It means you sometimes don't sleep at night. It means all kinds of things. It's a very difficult. I know we all promote entrepreneurship, and we know that SMEs are the driving force of the economy. But beyond just cash and being on Instagram, if you really want to employ people, grow your business, make an economic impact and social impact on the country, it means a lot of work, a lot of research, a lot of hard work, a lot of collaboration, and it's definitely not easy. I think it's just an easy option because we know it's easy for someone to just open a shop and, then you have 100 people selling pure water on the same street. Nobody's differentiating. Everyone is selling the same product. Everyone just turning up to the shop, and no one's particularly doing well. But the key thing is really differentiating yourself as an SME owner, really understanding the space that you're in and dominating that space as an expert, as a professional, to make sure you can actually grow steadily over time. And if you're not, monitoring your revenues and your costs consistently over time, you find yourself in a lot of trouble, borrowing money at a very crazy rate, instead of maybe focusing on how you're going to keep selling and generating revenue and finding your niche. It's fine to be someone who's specialized. Once you understand your niche, you can really go for it and dominate the space. And generate incomes, of course, generate consistent revenue over time at a good profit. So yeah, it's far from easy, but if you do it well with the right support from organization like Scale Up Africa, we can do a lot to make it a better give people more opportunities to have a better chance at succeeding.
Okay, thank you, Amma, for that answer. We have another one saying, what is the most important attribute you'd consider in employer branding apart from respect?
The most important aspect of employer branding is really, that's a really good question, actually. I would say being consistent and authentic. If you as a leader in an SME are not doing the right things, you're not speaking to your staff well, you think you're the madam or the boss, and people feel like you don't really care, or you don't have a real big vision. I spoke about higher purpose. If you're not demonstrating all these traits as a leader, then you can possibly create an authentic, consistent brand, because your workers will see you living a very different life from what you are putting out there, and they'll quickly be the ones to go and tell people that this place it's not nice here. So don't believe the hype, don't believe the brand, because it's consistency and authenticity, I think, are the key elements to a good, strong employer brand. From the minute you walk in, you live, you breathe, you work, you practice what you preach. Consistency and authenticity, I think, would be the key things for a strong employer brand.
Okay, thank you. That's another question also from Ajoa. She says, please, I had a convo with one of my friends recently, and he complained his business seemed not to be growing. Although he has the right people with the right skills, I advised him to recheck his business strategy as an entrepreneur, yet he thinks an overall rebranding is the answer. What would be your advice to him? That's coming from Ajoa, yeah.
Ajwa, thank you for your question. I think, rebranding, it looks nice, but that is not fundamentally the problem. The problem is that you have not identified your actual customer, the actual problem you are solving, who you are actually solving. You need to get to know your niche very, very well. If you're selling, like I say, water, is this sparkling water that will sell well in your area? Or is it a particular brand? Or, if you're doing agriculture, what particular, do you already have a buyer for that particular product already, that there's demand for that particular product? And then you can work backwards towards that particular demand. It's really about, identifying the problem you are solving as a business. Who are you selling to? Where are they? Where do they live? What are their issues? Go out and talk to them. Go out and talk to your customers. Do your customer research. Don't just sit behind a laptop, doing some go talk to the customers you're already serving and really understand them. Maybe you're actually serving the wrong customer altogether. Maybe there's a problem, you think there's a problem, but there's not really a market for the problem. Then you have to move on and maybe pivot, change direction a little bit until you get it right. But if you're not seeing growth consistently, month to month, day to day, then I think you're in trouble. So rebranding can wait. When you know the problem you're solving, you know intimately, like very, very deeply, who your customer base is, and they're willing to pay for the solution you're providing, then you could talk about rebranding, because then you would have spoken to them more extensively, you would have done more research, you have the data, then you can have a brand that meets what the need is from the market. But you should go out and seek assistance and information from those you think you are serving. And if you're serving the wrong people, then you have to divert your business to repurpose it and maybe do something a little bit different or drastically different. You either make a small change over time, small changes, or a drastic change to redirect your business based on what you have. If you've got a great team, that's a great asset, but the market must speak for your business first.
Okay, thank you, Amma. Okay, we have some comments here from Heather Oshie. She's a group head of human resource at Ringia One Africa Media. And she says, your brand is so powerful to attract the correct candidates spot on. Great. Thank you, Heather. And this one is coming from CEO of Jobberman Ghana, Kweku Agbesi. Kweku says, I totally agree with you on that point, Amma. Going out there and speaking to the customer is key to knowing what they want. Thank you, Kweku, for your comments there. All right, we have one last question for you, Amma. How can SME owners benefit from Skill Up Africa? This is coming from Norma.
Sure. I mean, if you Google Scale Up Africa, you'll see that we are doing a lot of activity for SME growth and support. We are currently running and implementing a program on behalf of Mastercard Foundation. It's called the COVID Resilience and Recovery Program. And what you can do is fill in a form. I'll drop a link in the chat for you all. If you are running an existing SME, you can access that particular program. We have other programs we run for corporations and other partners, but that particular one would be active at the moment. And so you can access some of the funding. Sorry, not funding. There's no cash available, but at least expertise, support, training programs, events that are relevant to show you how to maybe, address your finances or address some of the issues within your business. So I would encourage you to go to that link, which I will share shortly.
Okay, thank you so much, Amma, for that insightful presentation. So we ended here with Amma Jampo, who is the co-founder and CEO of Scale Up Africa. Thank you so much, Amma, for your time.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Okay, so we'll move to our next speaker, who is the CEO and also the founder of Naya by Africa. Naya is an entrepreneur. Yes, Naya has, Nana Mayanka, she has a very beautiful story, and I don't want to talk much about it. I want her to tell us herself. Yes. Nanoma, I hope you're well.
I'm doing great today. That was a good presentation.
So you're welcome to our Talking Talent webinar series. Yes. So I would like you to talk to us about your story, how you started off, and how you got to know you need the right people and how the right people has helped you get this far as a business owner. So if everything is fine with you, we can just move on.
Okay, so I'll just start with a little bit of introduction. So Naya has actually been around in Ghana for about 5-6 years now. Actually, yes. And in the past few years, when I started, I was I ran most of the activities myself. So it took, and I think earlier than I had one person helping me out. And then over the course of the time, I'm adding on and that is what has gone steadily along with others. I'm very particular when it comes to branding. Do you hear the echo?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. It's fine.
Okay. All right. So I'm over the years, we kind of started grown, one or two people at a time. After last year, we had 50 people. Okay? And in the last year or so, I've got part of my business. I have been working on engaging more people and growing the brand with different people. Actually, Jobberman has been a place where I have looked at hiring people, and I'm sure that's one of the things that Genevieve is aware of with this. Normally, I'll just post jobs there and then go to a bunch of resumes to kind of learn from different people. But it's throughout this process, there's a few things that I have learned through the process, and some that I am building on as I go through the process. It's not a perfect thing, and I think sometimes as entrepreneurs, we give ourselves too much pressure at the beginning for some of those things. We think we have to get it right, but sometimes it can cost us, and it can make it difficult for us to catch traction at the beginning. So this is so I'm going to take you through a little presentation where how normally I like to say we kind of work back, we kind of have to look backwards over time, because sometimes when you are in this entrepreneurial game, people always assume that you literally should have the whole plan ready and then work on it as you're going forward. But sometimes you actually have to dig in and learn, and then as you learn, you correct, over time, and then based on that, you use that to organize what your future plans and activities will look like. So that's pretty much it. So can go to the next slide. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we good?
So one of the things that I've learned over time, I think that became important to the brand as I started going from one person to two people to three, is I started kind of think to what is our story? What exactly are we trying to build? What are we hiring for? What is important for the brand? And how will the different people that we add on impact this? One of the key things that Naya is about is really, we are a cosmetic brand. I don't know if I already mentioned that, but so we make bath and body care products. And throughout, the key ingredients for that has been the source of how we started the business and grown it is I think share and black tea. And both of those businesses are women businesses. They are share butter is a purely women business that's actually being processed from beginning to end by women up north, and so is black tea. That's usually going to come up across the country. So we didn't want the story to end there as just women processing our raw material. We wanted that to be a part of our story as women also not only stopping in the raw material, but also developing the product. So we developed bath and body care products, shower gels, bath soaps, oils, scrubs, and I wanted to make sure that throughout building this, there were women experts who understood the production of products, who were chemical engineers, women who were accountants, women who were marketers, women who were sales, so that throughout the journey of talking about women, we can actually instill that as part of our culture and building women up, or not thinking of just the people who normally just does the sales of the market, but also are the core behind science and technology and math skills throughout the growth of the business. So this is one of the things that literally helped shape our business and kind of guides me in deciding who to hire and where to hire them at and what kind of positions to fill in. Normally, when I'm hiring, I do look for the women first. To be honest, as of right now, there are only women that work in this company. We could call that discrimination, but for me, I call that empowerment, because I think it sometimes I'll post a job for a production assistant, and you will get 90 men and 10 women, and the goal is not to kind of put away the skills of the 90 men, but also to highlight these 10 women to also understand that there's opportunities for them also out there. Because sometimes I think because some of these technical skills are not pushed, it discourages people from applying to certain roles and taking on certain things. So that becomes part of it. Just understanding the skills that are in the understanding the business system of the industry, what your story is, what your mission is, what you're trying to achieve, and then being able to find people with the specific skills that will fit into creating part of this story. Because the personalities of the people on your team and the skills they have and the different things they do all become a part of the story. Next slide, please. So once you figured out, okay, this is our story and this is where we are, what our vision and direction is, then you have to figure out who you need in the business. Because earlier on when you start, you only need 1 or 2 or 3 people. So you have to also think through who these people are. First, you have to understand the delicate balance between your budget and what you actually need. Because if you are hiring people just to hire people on the team who are not adding any value right from the start, it just becomes an expensive cost when you, the entrepreneur, just start to when you need certain things done, because you end up having to do a lot of things on your own without actually getting too much help from the people around you, which can be very tiring for an entrepreneur. So you need a mix of some skills, some unskilled, but being able to understand what kind of skills and what kind of expertise they are bringing to your team as they're growing on. So think through the skills, and also the functional rules, the things that you can't do all, and you need somebody to fill in for you in places when you take a step back. Those are going to be the things that are important for the beginning. So like your sales, you need somebody to help you go and sell the product. You need somebody to help you make the product. You need somebody, and if it's a service, the same way. You need people to get on the phone and make the calls for you. So those are functional roles that you have to look out for to help you at the beginning. And then there's other things that you can't afford, like maybe a full-time accountant or a full-time digital marketer or some of those things. You can outsource them at the beginning. So sometimes those are a little bit cheaper at the beginning if you outsource, and then later on as you grow your brand, you can hire them full-time. Next slide, please. So once you do that, the next thing is trying to understand is to set the expectations for what they are going to do. You have to bring people in, understanding what their roles are and what they are going to do in the company. You don't have to go sitting around. That's too expensive for a small business. And so you have to make sure that if you need people, understand, are you bringing in full-time or part-timers? What would they be doing? How they structure a little bit of that before you bring them in, so that people don't come and idle around wondering whether what to do. What I think you have to do as an entrepreneur as well is to build yourself, because the strategy of where the business is going, the different job roles that you're hiring for, when those people come in, the first thing they're going to look to is you. What have you done so far? Where are you? What have you put together? What kind of help do you need? Before they will be able to put in the people. So earlier on, you have to be an expert in your business. You have to understand what you're selling, what you're making, how you're marketing it, where you want to market it. You have to be hands-on, so that as you bring people on, part of your personality and the excitement that you have about the brand and the culture that you're trying to build will be invited in them as you go along. But if you are taking things for granted, they are not going to come and be the people who are putting the practice and things in place. So you have to lead by example. You have to be ready for it, and you have to put the job and things, and you have to promote continuous growth. As people are doing their job, push them to do more. Don't just allow people to relax and sit and say, oh, this is what I know how to do, this is what I've been told to do, so I'm doing this all the time. No, you have to be able to push people. You have to be able to have higher expectations for them. You have to be able to drive them towards a higher vision than what they do. Otherwise, the business becomes stagnant and it doesn't grow, because they are literally coming in to do what you are already doing, not where you want to be next. And every time you hire people, they have to move you to the next level, to the next place, to the next place. And when you're not doing that, then you are literally just adding people, but you're not growing your revenue, you're not growing the business, you're not growing the skills that's in the company, and the business will not grow as well. So give people job functions, allow them to be accountable for their jobs. Don't give people jobs and then go and sit behind them and do it for them. Give people jobs and step back and let them do it and hold them accountable for what is expected of them. That is important, because that will allow you to also focus on where you are going next. Because the reason why you're hiring people is to help to actually get things done. So if you're not getting the things done, then you have to be able to come in and say, okay, then this person is not the right fit for this role. I need somebody who knows what they're doing, because I can't move forward if I have to keep coming back to do their work for them. So those are some of the things that you have to get into when you're working with people. Not everybody likes the code, and if they are not the right people, it's okay. You don't have to keep them around. You don't have to force them to learn things that they don't want to learn. So it's also important. You have to also make sure that you're hiring people along the lines of things they're interested in. You don't hire somebody who's interested in accounting to do marketing, or somebody who's interested in sales to do production. They will not be effective at the job. They will just go in and sit around and just play around all day. You have to understand what people's interests are when you're hiring them, and then their attitude will go along with it. But it's something they're already interested in. It's easy to coach along those lines, and then they will also be willing to learn and go and read about the different goals and things that we expect from them. And then finally, last slide, please. Finally, you have to be, you have to keep refining the process. It's not a perfect system. You will not get it right the first time, the second time, the third time, the fourth time, maybe even the fifth time. So sometimes you have to replace people until you find the right person. And it may seem tiring, it may seem difficult, it may seem like you're not getting it. But over time, you will get to understand what exactly you need for the role, and then even in your hiring process, you would be better in deciding who to hire for certain roles. Because if you're not hiring the right people, and if they keep coming in and not doing their job, it also takes a drain on the business financially, emotionally on the business owner, because where you think things should be going, it's not going, and then you keep repeating certain things that are not helping progress the business. Also, make your pay competitive when you can. So this is also why you don't have too many people too early. If you can have just one or two people to help you, and you can pay them well so that they will be effective and efficient at the beginning, do that. So that you're not bringing in a lot of people that you can't afford and then just paying them pennies to sit around all day and do nothing. That's just a waste in the business. So as small business, your money can only go so far. So you have to be willing to you have to pay attention to exactly where it's going and who the people you are paying are adding value to the business consistently. You will train people and they will leave. But it shouldn't stop you from training people when they come in and saying that, oh, when I train people, they leave, so I'm not training them anymore. You have to still train people. But if the people who are around you are not trained, it actually costs you a lot and it takes a drain on the business. So when people come in and they need additional help, take time to take them through it. If they are going to leave eventually, that's fine. But at least while they are there, they would have added value to your business. So that the next person that comes in will be able to take off from a higher place, and then when they came in, they came to me. So train the people so that they can also build their skills so that they can continue to grow. Allow room for mistakes for the learning for the growth throughout the process. Sometimes people make mistakes and people just think that's the end of their business. It's not the end of their business. Sometimes that's how people learn. Allow them to go through some of that. But don't let them continue to make mistakes for 2 years straight and then just allow them to sit around and make it. At some point, you have to train the learning and the growth in the things that they are doing. And that's how you'll be able to figure out if they're the right person to do the job. So just like the next point, if they're not performing, just let them do. Don't keep them around. Don't keep coming them. Don't just think that if they leave, that you won't be able to do anything. That'll be the end of your business. It won't be the end of your business. That's why you have to also be building yourself and be growing your skills as these people also growing their as the employees are growing their skills, so that you will always also be a step ahead of where the business is going and continuously be ready to take on new people, to take on a stronger people, to build a stronger team. The team should be defined as something productive. And the people there should have a good rapport among them. They should enjoy the work they do. The team has to work. If the people in there are not getting along, it actually puts a strain on the business. So it has to be fun environment. The people have to be able to get along and work with each other. They have to be something. They have to know their job. They have to understand their role. They have to know what they're doing. And when they come in the morning, they have to know exactly what they're doing. That productivity before we drive growth in the business. So that's really what I have to say about it. Thank you very much, everyone. Any questions?
All right, thank you, Nana Mayanka, for that very informative session. So do we have some questions? Okay, we have comments here. This is coming from Kwekwa Agbesi. He says, mutual respect between colleagues is also key to healthy working environment. Thank you, Kwekwa. And okay, Amma says, very important to push, develop, and coach your people. Great point, Nanama. Okay, let me see if we have some questions here. Okay, so if you're watching and you have questions, please leave them in the comment area. Okay, so Mohamida is asking, where do you find the best talents? So Nanama,
Where?
so far so good. Yeah, where have you been finding the best talents to work with?
To be honest, I find talent everywhere. And I actually use Jobberman Ghana, to be honest. What I do is I will create a job and I'll just post it. And what actually it allows me, I know some people get frustrated by it when they get a lot of resumes, but what that allows me to do is get a sense of who's in the market, what kind of skill sets exist, what am I looking for, what different roles, different people exist. So sometimes some people will be recommendations from friends or family who know people, but I don't have direct friends and family. I do have
Why don't you hire direct friends and family?
that I'm hiring for. So even if it's a friend or family, I have to be hiring them for a particular job that I need, and then they should have the skills and expertise for that. I do get recommendations from that. I use Jobberman, I post jobs, and then I just go through the resume, and then literally go do phone interviews, and I do take a couple of physical interviews. Because I have to meet you, I have to understand what you are going to ask to the team, what you do. Some people show up at interviews and they haven't even read anything about the company. They don't know anything about the brand. They are not even interested. Those people are not. If you are not interested in the business, why will I even bother giving you a job? Because you're going to bring that same attitude into the work. So you have to be able to, anywhere that you find talent, you have to make sure that you have specifics of what the core minimum you are looking for with the different people that you are looking for, so that when they come in, you'll be able to they'll be able to fit in properly with the culture of the company.
Okay. So I have another question here. It says, as a business owner, what is the 3 top soft skill sets you look out for when hiring?
Soft skills.
Yes.
I look for
apart from the hard
people
skills.
Who ask questions for some reason. That is important to me, because sometimes, and also people take notes when you are having a meeting with them. It may not seem like big things, but it's important. So sometimes you are engaging and having meetings with people, and they are sitting and they're not writing anything. They'll say yes, please, yes, please. They'll go and come back. And so those people normally who write things are also more likely to ask follow-up questions, because they're thinking through the conversations as you are having it with them. I look for people who you don't have to necessarily have a strong personality, because sometimes a strong personality sometimes makes people seem like they're the right people, because they'll come in confident and everything, but that doesn't mean they can still do the job. So you still need them to be able to, even if they are not very confident, but still understand what their responsibilities are, what their role functions are, and how they'll be able to help the team as a result of that. So they have to be strong-minded, understand the skills that what the job requirements are, and then they have to be able to take notes and remember what they're doing. So that they are following conversations and different things.
Okay, so we have our next question says, hello, sometimes you hire people who have the skills, but they seem not to have the right attitude for the job. Attitude and skills, which one is more important when you want your business to grow? This is coming from Joy again.
Both. Attitude and skills, because someone can have the right attitude and hire them, and you want them to be able to still learn the skills of your job once they are there. So maybe at the beginning, even if they have the right attitude, they still have to have some basic understanding what the role you are hiring them for, or have some interest in that role, so that they can learn and grow and build their skills in that role. So if you only have for attitude and they don't have the skills, then you spend so much time trying to build skills, or maybe you might even end up building the wrong skills, and they will not be interested in skills. But if you also have skills who are really good, but then they are just going to take apart your team because they don't work well with people, they are creating everybody that they work with. That's a strong spirit. That might also be good. So you want a good balance.
Okay, thank you. All right, let me read a few comments here. This is coming from Heather. Heather says, attitude, in my opinion, is the openness to learn. Skills does not mean you fit with a team. Noma says skill, okay. Kweku says, attitude over skill anytime. You can learn the skill. You cannot teach attitude. Okay. Heather again says, skill, you can teach. Yes, so skill, you can teach, attitude anytime for Kweku. All right, thank you all. Do we have any other question? Okay, skill, but attitude is supreme. This is coming from Noma. All right, thank you. Let me check if we still have some few questions and then we can move to the next thing. Okay, so Heather says again, supreme indeed. Yes, sure. Thank you. All right, Nana Mayanka, thank you so much. Thank you for your time and thank you for joining us once again. I'll continue to say thank you. I'm grateful for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so that was a great one coming from Nana Mayanka. She is the CEO and founder of Naya by Africa. So if you are looking for cosmetics, Naya by Africa, she's the go-to person. Look for her. She's on Instagram, she's on Facebook, she's on LinkedIn. Yes. You can
Yes,
look,
and we also
and
have
then
a
your
shop at
website. Can you give us
AMC.
your website?
So you can visit us in person, online, engage us anywhere. We're always available to take care of you.
Great. Thank you, Nanama.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so our next session was supposed to be with Ibrahim Asani, who is the head of human resource and recruitment here at Jobberman Ghana. But unfortunately, Ibrahim, he has an emergency, so he couldn't join us for the session. We'll make time for him another time, and we'll talk more about how to hire the right way, and then hiring the right people to grow your business as a SME business owner. So before we go, I'd like to talk to you about how to hire right. If you're really a business owner and you want the right people to work with, people with the skills, Jobberman is the only way to help you out. Just come to us, visit www.jobberman.com.gh, and you get the right people. We have over 50,000 professionals on our platform who are really ready to work right now. So if you want to move your business to the next level, just follow us and we are here to help you. And then again, if you're a job seeker and you're looking for tips on how to solve problems, as in how to write CVs, how to answer questions when you go for interviews, log on to www.jobberman.com.gh/blog and you get all the information there. We have all the tips that HR is giving you out for free. Just join us. And if you don't have a job seeker account, there's no way you'll find a job on Jobberman. So make sure you create a job seeker account if you are looking for a new opportunity here on Jobberman. So we are saying you have to hire right and hire the right way only on Jobberman. That's the only option for you to get the professionals you need in Ghana. Thank you all so much for joining, and we'll meet some other time. Yes, have a very good afternoon. Thank you.